said this in a statement that Shettima spoke during a breakfast with African heads of state to launch the African plan for AfCFTA. The breakfast was held on the sidelines of the ongoing World Economic Forum, WEF, held in Davos, Switzerland. Shettima said that based on the World Bank projections, AfCFTA would increase Africa's GDP by $450 billion in 2035 and exports by more than 81%. He also observed that negotiations have turned out to be too low, with clashes between national and continental priorities. This, according to him, has led to too few consummated deals among countries since January 2021 to date. He urged Africa's private sector players to be proactive in stepping up to the plate to occupy their pride of place in trade on the continent. The Sokoto State Committee of the Review of Wasteful and Unnecessary Government Assets has stated that appointees of the immediate past governor, Aminu Tambuwal, would away with no fewer than 745 government vehicles. The committee said it was able to recover only 32 of the vehicles, adding that 40 of them had been taken to Niger Republic. The committee's chairman, Alhaji Jalani Galgo, while presenting the report of his findings to Governor Ahmed Aliyu, said the committee also discovered a government property sold for 60 million naira, but only 30 million naira was remitted. Over now to the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of the Delta State Governor Sheriff Oberawure. The court dismissed the appeals by All Progressive Congress and its candidate Oviyomo Agege and the Labour Party, its candidate Ken Pillar, against the governor. In the Omo Agege appeal, the five-member panel led by Justice John Okoro said the appeal lacked merit and the appellant was unable to discharge the burden of proof placed on him. Pillar's appeal was also dismissed for lack of merit. Ahead of negotiations for the payment of a new minimum wage scheduled to commence in April 2024, the organized labor has submitted a list of its representatives who will represent Nigerian workers on a negotiation panel which is set to be constituted by the federal government. For a new minimum wage to be implemented, a tripartite committee is often set up by the federal government to ensure smooth negotiations for the committee set up by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019. The tripartite committee was headed by the then head of civil service of the Federation, Ama Pebble. The committee also had as some of its members representatives of the organized labor, comprising the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, alongside officials of government and the private sector. Over now to the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says President Bola Tinubu has approved the payment of renewal fees for the group life assurance for federal government workers. Addressed newsmen after the first federal executive in Abuja, he said the president approved about 9.6 billion naira for 12 local insurance firms to cover the federal workers in case of unforeseen eventualities in the course of their duties. Fauzia Lukman tells us more.
Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council, FEC, expressed concerns over rising cost of goods and services in the country.
The federal government today approved the group life assurance for all federal government staff as submitted by the head of service. About 12 companies were involved, Nigerian insurance companies were involved, and about 9.8 billion naira was approved by council to settle the group life assurance claims.
Also briefing journalists after the meeting, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi disclosed that Council mandated him to obtain the National Assembly's ratification of the tax liberalization agreement signed between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates UAE during President Tinubu's visit to the country.
Rising cost of goods and services in the country, as well as the rising cost of doing business in Nigeria, and also noted the excitement and optimism of the real sector that the renewed hope agenda will bring a prosperous 2024. We deliberated on how we can actually improve the manufacturing, the ease of doing, improve the business environment for manufacturers and industrialists.
Council noted that the agreement between both countries, that is between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates, include personal income tax, company income tax, petroleum profit tax, information technology, levy, tertiary education tax, and capital gain tax. Because of the effect of this cooperation or the benefits that will accrue to Nigeria, the Council agreed and directed that the agreement that had been signed already should, by mandating, authorizing the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to prepare a bill along this line to take to the National Assembly for ratification. The effect of this is that it has ceased to be an ordinary agreement, but an agreement between two countries. Other countries will follow, but the one that we immediately leverage on is the one between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. Apart from this one, Council also decided that going forward, we should also have a very solid national policy on taxation that will drive or attract foreign investment.
Meanwhile, before the commencement of the first Federal Executive Council FEC meeting in the year, President Bola Tinubu had sworn in Ambassador Desmond Akawo as Commissioner of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC. Fauziya Lukman, Global TV News.
The Cross River State Ministry of Health has raised the alarm over an outbreak of Lassa fever, which has already claimed one life in the Edja community of Osopong Ward 1, Obubra local government area of the state. In a statement signed by the Commissioner of Health, Dr. Egbe Ayok, he says citizens were notified of the outbreak following an investigation carried out on the deceased, which confirmed he died of Lassa fever. The state rapid response team will be going to Obubra to join the local government area team to ensure contact tracing, line listing, and decontamination of the affected premises. The Commissioner stated that awareness creation and risk communication, as well as mobilization of Lassa fever commodities, consumables, and personal protective equipment to General Hospital, Obubra, and other locations have been activated. And now on the Adamawa State Ministry of Health has sealed 8 illegal health training institutions across the state since the operation against illegal institutions started in the state capital. The government has shut down 2 colleges of health in Yola, 6 South and 6 in Yola North. The committee led by Isaac Kadala, the Director of Public Health for the Ministry of Health, also closed down Jamaica Central College of Health Science and Technology in Form 1, Nepa Road, Jamaica, Yola, School of Health Technology, Woro Kutori, Jamaica, Yola, Nafan College of Health Science and Technology in Jamabatu, Jamaica, Yola, and Beldam College of Health Science and Technology in Yako Quarters, Jamaica, Yola. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Barrister Isuwa Misali, explained that the clampdown exercise is part of Governor Fintiri's agenda to improve the health sector in Adamawa State by sensitizing health institutions in the state. The Federal High Court in Abuja declared null and void the provisions of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, authorizing the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, to impose fines on broadcast stations for alleged breaches of the code, as it ruled that administrative and regulatory bodies could not exercise judicial powers, delivering judgments in a suit instituted by Media Rights Agenda, MRA, against NBC, following the Commission's imposition of fines of 5 million naira each on a television station and a 3 pay TV platform in 2022 for allegedly undermining Nigeria's national security by broadcasting documentaries on banditry in Nigeria. Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogbobia held that the NBC, not being a court of law, acted above its powers by imposing such fines. The judge commended MRA for its legal challenge of NBC's action and issued an order of perpetual injunction restraining the Commission or anyone acting on its behalf from further imposing any fine on any media platform or broadcast station in Nigeria for any alleged offense committed under the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. FCT Minister Yosem Wike says his administration will make it unbearable for bandits to operate in the Federal Capital Territory. Wike made this known at the town hall meeting with residents of Buari Area Council over the high level of insecurity in the territory. Kike Lomo Okere has the details.
Cases of kidnapping have increased in the country, with the recent situation being the abduction of 6 sisters from their residence in Zuma 1 in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory on the 5th of January 2024. The FCT minister says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed him and all service chiefs to explore all necessary means to bring an end to the kidnapping and killing of residents by bandits in Buhari and other areas in the Federal Capital Territory, adding that the President has approved the provision of all necessary tools and logistics required by security operatives to combat insecurity in the FCT, and as such, there is no room for excuses by security operatives.
Mr. President is within the group agenda we want to face squarely. It is no longer going to be business as usual. Everything has to be done to protect life and property. Without protection of life and property, then we have no business to be in government. Without information, there's nothing we can do. And that is where you have to play a key role. Traditional institution, you have a role to play. Community leaders, you have a role to play. Because by information, you help the security agencies to proactively take control.
He further reassured residents of the area of drastic changes as regards the security situation, while appealing to all stakeholders to support security agencies with information to win the war. He further appealed to residents of the FCT to desist from the use of radio or social media to speak on the operations of the bandits or donation for victims, as he says it only fuels the bandits and promotes their action to carry out more operations.
And so in the next few days, you will see the action of the security agencies to make sure that this kidnapping is brought to a halt. So I condole with you, I sympathize with you for the death of some of our people, for the kidnap of some of our people.
The demand of 600 million naira as ransom from the kidnappers has generated public outcry, with the police authority vowing to secure the release of the victims. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
In the face of the rising kidnapping and bandits ravaging some parts of the country, the National Association of Nigerian Students has called for the declaration of a state of emergency on the security situation in the country. The clerk of the Student Senate body, Oladimeji Othman, disclosed this in a statement on Friday. Othman stated that the National Association of Nigerian Students is gravely concerned about the escalating security crisis in Nigeria, particularly the surge in the kidnapping and banditry that has disproportionately affected the northern region and other zones of the country. He added that declaring a state of emergency will help the government to address the security situation critically. He also suggested that the federal government should work on the collaboration between the stakeholders for intelligence gathering. You're watching News Cycle live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, FCTA to establish 1.7 billion naira smart secondary schools. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Circle. Thank you for staying with us. And over on our foreign desk, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has told the United States that he opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state once the conflict in Gaza comes to an end. At a news conference, a defunct Netanyahu vowed to press on with the offensive in Gaza until complete victory, destruction of Hamas, and return of remaining Israeli hostages, adding that it could take many more months. Speaking to reporters following Netanyahu's latest comments, U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby recognized that the U.S. and Israel obviously see things differently. Police killed 6 suspects in an early morning shootout Thursday near South Africa's coastal city of Durban, saying they had targeted a gang after a spate of house robberies and murders. The South African Police Service said they operationalized intelligence about the whereabouts of the suspects who were wanted for a spate of house robberies, murders, business robbery, and carjacking. When they arrived at the house in Inada, a crime-ridden township northwest of the port city, they were met with a hail of bullets. 3 suspects, a woman and 2 men, were arrested. According to the police, 2 rifles and a shotgun were found in the house, as well as a vehicle that was stolen in December. Last September, police killed 18 people in a fueled cache in transit east through shootouts in the country's northeast. Hundreds of flights at Frankfurt Airport in Germany were cancelled on Thursday due to a winter storm that forced the airport to briefly suspend takeoffs and landing. More than 300 of about 1,000 scheduled flights for Thursday at Frankfurt Airport were cancelled. A spokeswoman for the airport operator, Frankfurt, said on Thursday morning flights were taking off and landing at the airport, but air traffic was still recovering from a storm that brought ice-freezing rain and snow to much of western and southern Germany. It was unclear if additional flights might be cancelled throughout Thursday, as the airport spokeswoman urged passengers to check the status of their flights online before traveling to the airport. North Korea says it has carried out a test of its underwater nuclear weapon system in response to drills by U.S., South Korea, and Japan this week. On Friday, North Korea said it had been provoked by joint drills by Washington, Seoul, and Tokyo to carry out the test of its underwater weapons. It accused the exercises of further destabilizing the regional situation and threatening the North's security. The U.S., South Korea, and Japan say they have conducted more exercises in the past year as a deterrence response to increasing frequency of North Korea's military actions, which include multiple tests of its nuclear ballistic missiles and launches a new weapon. All such actions are in breach of UN sanctions, but Pyongyang under the Kim Jong has repeatedly said his regime is building up its military arsenal in preparation for war that could break out at any time on the peninsula. And on business, the headquarters of the 6th Division Nigerian Army, Port Harcourt, has uncovered 14 crude oil reservoirs containing about 3 million liters of stolen crude in Adegwe Eche in Echelu government area of Rivers State. Also, the Army stated that the reservoir had 49 boilers, which are refining stolen crude in the area. The General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Port Harcourt, Major General Jamal Abdulsalam, while conducting newsmen around the reservoir located in the thick forest of Odogwa Eche on Thursday, said he wanted Nigerians to know what was happening. Abdulsalam disclosed that through credible intelligence, officers of the division were able to discover about 14 reservoirs that contained upward of about 200,000 liters of crude oil in the forest. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has earmarked 1.7 billion naira in the 2024 budget for the establishment of a pilot smart secondary school in the FCT. The FCT Minister Nyesom Wike disclosed in Abuja at an event organized to celebrate the accomplishments of public school students in FCT in academics and sports. Wike, who was represented by the Mandate Secretary, Education Secretariat FCTA, Dr. Danlamin Hiayo, said that the move was to align with global trends in digital teaching and learning. He explained that the smart school, which would be located in Karshi, a community under the Abuja Municipal Area Council, would be equipped with boarding and digital facilities for e-teaching and learning. He further added that 1.7 billion naira was part of the 13.1 billion approved for the renovation, rehabilitation and construction of new schools in the FCT in 2024. Now, in a bid to promote student engagement, empower students' leadership, and foster a conducive learning environment that nurtures future leaders and contributes to national development, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement, Sunday Asefon, has unveiled Nigerian students' flag and the Renewed Hope Schools agenda. He says it is aimed at the serving of a bridge for students' engagement in governance, policy formations, and implementation to foster students' leadership, entrepreneurship, innovation, and prioritizing the needs and the rights of students. Global TV's Queen Agaba has details.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement noted that the student flag and Nigerian Student Renewed Hope agenda will focus on the identification and discussion of challenges facing students on campus, as well as ensuring an uninterrupted academic calendar.
Sensitization of student loan, as you are aware, and as at yesterday at the FEC, the Mr. President again reaffirmed his commitment and that this student loan will commence as is promised by this January, by God's grace. And I can assure you of that because it's at the last year.
Speaking further, Asefon highlighted partnership with embassies and international development organizations, which he said will attract value to the Nigerian student community, such as scholarships and exchange program.
The Nigerian Civil Defense has just launched a safe school program. We believe that most of our campuses are not fenced. The management of our school, we need to partner with them. We need to partner with security agencies to make sure that when you are a student on campus, you can sleep with your eyes closed. So these are things that we believe, going beyond you study. If your environment is not conducive, it will be very difficult for you to study.
The SSA on student engagement, as part of his mandate, also reiterated the commitment of his office to improving education system in Nigeria, as well as the well-being of the Nigerian student.
I want to appeal to Nigerian students. They should be calm. They should be patient. That this government is so interested in their welfare, and we'll also be opening what we call Nigerian Student Complaint Unit. That complaint unit is a place when, as a student, if there is any issue or any harassment, maybe sex for mark as for female students, or any issue on your campus, without even calling my number, you can log in there and make sure you lay your complaint, and your complaint will get to our table.
Queen Agaba reporting for Global TV.
The Nigerian government has reaffirmed its commitment to partnering with international investors and countries to unlock the full potential of its natural gas resources, with a specific focus on developing a thriving hydrogen sector. This message was delivered by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekperikpe Ekpo, at the Americans Energy Summit and Exhibition in New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. Ekpo underscored the critical role of hydrogen in transitioning towards a sustainable energy future, highlighting its potential to reduce carbon emissions and pave the way for a cleaner, greener world. Furthermore, he acknowledged the need for international cooperation in this endeavor. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, says the volume of Nigeria's non-oil exports in 2023 stood at 6.685 million metric tons of exportable product. The Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer, CEO of NEPC, Nonye Ayeni, made this known at the presentation of the non-oil export performance for the year 2023 in Abuja. She says the continued increase in volume of the nation's non-oil exports reaffirms the widely held assertions that the sector held the key to the revitalization of the country's economy. Moving on, Nigerians seeking $1.5 billion aid from the World Bank to tackle the severe dollar shortage, contributing to the decline of Naira. According to the minister, Africa's largest economy may also issue a Eurobond in the late 2024, adding that with the current economic reforms, the country deserves support. Eurobonds, denominated in foreign currencies, offers Nigeria a mechanism to navigate its financial landscape amidst challenging economic conditions. Nigeria is currently battling with about 87 trillion naira debt, which the International Monetary Fund said was manageable, but noted that the interest payment was high for the country. The minister said the new World Bank loan would be used to finance development, disclosing that the facility will disburse to Nigeria very soon. Electricity consumers in Gombe and some parts of Yola and Bauchi states will experience power outage on Thursday and Friday as a result of scheduled maintenance of power facilities by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. The TCN announced that its maintenance crew would carry out scheduled preventive maintenance on the bay of its transformer on the Thursday and Friday, January 18th and 19th, 2024. According to the statement by the TCN General Manager Public Affairs Ndidi Umba, the maintenance would last 8 hours, running from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on each day. Umba disclosed this to commence the maintenance exercise. TCN will transfer the load from T1 Atom transformers to T2A substations, adding that subsequently there will be an interruption of bulk power supply to Jos and Yola Discos through the T1A transformer. And that's it on the news cycle, and came to you live from the Nigerian's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again. Good afternoon.